Hello and welcome back to Hearthstone. We're going to jump straight into game 4 where we are up against another paladin. Now, just before I go into the proper commentary, I would like to point out that Hearthstone is now in open beta. So if you've been unfortunate enough to, not get hold of a beta key or get access before now, you can actually get in and play for yourself. But anyway, we're going to go straight onto the game, and I decided to swap out an Avenging Wrath. It's not the best opening hand, but I've got some removal, and the Outdoor Peacekeeper's, not bad. Not really. But, I mean, I normally tend to save him for, later plays. And the Paladin is going to coin into a Geomancer, which is quite an interesting choice. And I pull an Argent Commander, which is not going to help me at turn 2. So, naturally, I'll just go for the hero power. I don't have an engineer or anything at the moment. Again, Swamp Ooze. I see a lot of people playing Swamp Ooze. Without... Because it removes weapons and things, I normally tend to save it for that. Especially if you're up against a paladin who uses weapons, you're better off saving it. So I don't really understand why people play it, personally. I'm sure there's some reason, but I don't really see any point in it. But, yeah. What's he gonna do? He is gonna use the Brewmaster, which is quite a good choice. Removes the debuff from my Peacekeeper. I do hate these graphical glitches. The card that's left upside down there, and there's stuff that keeps happening, and it's really distracting. I'm quite picky when it comes to stuff like that. And it did distract me for the entire of this game. Pretty much. Pull out Novice Engineer and get a Guardian of Kings. I'm getting a lot of my high cost cards so early on, which is not great. But I'm not doing bad. I've had plenty of worse starts. He does Hammer of Wrath the Peacekeeper, which is a shame. So, didn't really get much value out of him. I pull another Guardian of Kings. Brilliant. And I don't have an awful lot I can do right now. I think I opt for, I decide to reinforce and then just smack him. I don't see any point in using my buffs or anything right now. Hammer of Wrath might have been an idea, but, I'd rather save that for clearing the board later on if he brings something out that needs to be dealt with. Rather than just wasting it on damaging him. And there's that really annoying distracting card. Blizzard, please. Please fix this. River Crocolisk. Not very threatening, really. And reinforce himself. Now pull a Blessing of Kings. And at this point, I think I opted for the Argent Commander. No, I didn't. Saved my Hammer of Wrath to remove the Crocolisk and then traded the Reinforce. Popped a new one and then just did 1 damage. I have to remind myself that I'm commentating over a game that I played a week ago and I've completely forgotten what happened. So my commentary is terrible. But there we go. My memory's just as bad. Let's have a look. True Silver Champion. And Bloodsail Raider. Which is quite a nice play. Quite clever. He does decide to go for my reinforcement. Although to be fair, he could have gone for either of those. I draw Consecrate, which to me seems like a kind of a waste. So, yes, I decide to buff my minion and trade. And then play Argent Commander. And then just rush him for 4 damage. Now he could use his True Silver Champion on me, but he'd have to remove the shield first. I think. And plays his own Argent Commander. Plays a secret. At this point I do remember thinking that secret was Repentance, like mine, but it wasn't, as you'll see in a minute. He does trade the shield, and then takes out my commander with the True Silver Champion, and you can see it's an eye for an eye, so it does another 4 damage to me. So we're just trading blows at the minute, we're quite even. His True Silver Champion has been used up, and I decided to play Guardian of Kings just because it's one of the best minions I have in my hand at the moment. I didn't really need the health right now, but you know, it's a 5/6 minion. He can't do a huge amount to it, especially now that his weapon's gone, unless he's got another one in his hand. But I'm not entirely sure what he could do to deal with that. I do have another one in my hand if I need it. I also have the Novice Engineer I can play for card draw, see if I can find Tyrion. Because he likes to be hiding in there somewhere. He can't find me, playing hide and seek. Lord of the Arena comes out. And now he's starting to get a bit of a board advantage. Doesn't decide to go for my Guardian, goes straight for me. And of course equality, I was thinking about it, yeah, and I had no choice really. And here comes the equality consecrate combination. Unfortunately it does take my Guardian down to 1 health, but I have another one in my hand, which is fine. And then I use the Engineer for some card draw and I get a taunt. So now I've got the advantage. He's down to 16, so I've got 10 more health than him. And I've also got 6 damage on the board. Unless he does something to clear the Guardian out of the way. I mean, 1 health is not... It's not very intimidating. You could literally just one hit that with something. So though suggesting that he's pausing means he obviously hasn't got anything quite to, you know, how to deal with that. Unless he has and he's just thinking of what combination to do. But usually I assume that if someone can do something, they normally do it relatively quickly when into their turn, if that makes sense. Like if a mage has a polymorph, then and you assume they have polymorph, they'll use it. I hope you get what I mean. I'm pretty bad at explaining things. You just bring the ooze back out, which gets rid of that stupid glitchy graphical annoying thing. Frostwolf Warlord comes out and now he's got the board dominance again. Pull another consecrate. He is quite scary at this moment. And I think I was... Yeah, I brought out the taunt, I think. Yeah, and then consecrate. Just to clear that out. It does take the Frostwolf down to 4, which I then trade my Guardian for, because you know, there was not really much else I wanted to do, and I didn't really want to lose my taunt. I could have buffed my Engineer, but didn't see much point. Because 1 health, you know, if he gets through the taunt, then it's not really going to be defended by anything.
I wonder.
I do have another Guardian. I've also got a Blessing of Kings I can use. He does decide to heal himself. I have quite a good combination of buffs right now that I could use on my taunt, depending on what he does with it. He does have a True Silver Champion, which he decides... I'm assuming he's going to take my taunt out with that. Because it's 4 damage and he's only got 4 health. Yep, there we go. He does use a Blessing of Wisdom on my Engineer though, which is a bit annoying because if I use it to attack, then I'm just going to give him card draw, which I don't particularly want to do. But I do play the Guardian of Kings because I don't have any of the minions, and then reinforce. And I was thinking about attacking, you know, trading with the Engineer, but I didn't really want to give him the card. I suppose back, you know, thinking about it, I shouldn't have mattered. I should have just traded it anyway. But I decided against it. I think I was just feeling a bit like, no, I'm not going to give you card draw. Stormwind Champion comes out. And that's why I thought I should have traded back then. Because now that's a 2-2. Curse you, Stormwind Champion! And reinforces again with another 2-2. So there's quite some scary looking things on the board at the moment. I have used all my Consecrate and I have some like all buffs in my hand. He is going to start attacking my Guardian. He does kill it, which is unfortunate. I do pick up an Argent Protector. Ancient Protector. Terrible. Obviously with the lack of minions in my hand, I don't have much choice but to play it. I was looking at Blessing of Kings, see which one to buff. Obviously I don't particularly want to buff the one that's got the Blessing of Wisdom on it. I was just weighing up what sort of combination I could come with all the stuff in my hand. And I think I was toying with the idea of buffing my little 1/1. Yeah, there we go. And then I do shield him. Use him to take out. There we go. And then I do trade. Does give him a card, but you know, it does clear the board a bit, and again the board is in my favour. I also have a Blessing of Kings for next turn, so I could buff the little guy even more. I seem to be misusing the one that doubles the health. I seem to be using that wrong. I have noticed looking back at previous games, like I do seem to play that at the wrong point, which is a bit frustrating. Because I mean, I could have just used Blessing of Kings and not brought out the shield guy, the protector. But there we go. He does buff his Azure Drake, and I do pull another taunt. Naturally, decide to use the Blessing of Kings and the taunt. Smack him for 12. Take him down to 4 health. And it's pretty much looking like a comfortable win. There were a few mistakes that I made. There's a few errors that, you know, things that I could have changed, but I didn't really feel at any point in the game like I was going to lose, if that makes sense. Like I was quite confident with what I was doing, which is always good. So I don't often feel like that. I think I was getting comfortable after the Warrior win in the previous video, which was the game prior to this one. And obviously, you know, I had quite a comfortable win and I was getting in the zone. But yeah, he's got 4 health left and there's literally nothing he can do to stop that 12-5 smacking him full on in the face. As he does take the taunt out. Oh, he does take out the 12-5. But he does concede. Even though I only had 3 damage on the board. But there we go. I was still confident. 24 and 2 stars. Another victory for me. Woo. We're doing alright. And as you can see, we've gone 2-1 to 3-1. So we've only lost 1 so far, which is quite good. Moving on to game 5. And we are up against a priest. Now, I was quite worried when I came up into this, because priests are like the problem deck for me, especially with their mind control and their removal and stuff, because I'm buff based. I mean, I can use all my buffs to get a really strong minion, and then all you need to do is mind control it, and then it's hitting me in the face. So I was quite weary coming into this one. That opening hand I got was quite good. I even got the coin, which is a rare occurrence for me, although I did ruin it then by getting Avenging Wrath. But I never normally get the coin. I always usually go first, which is really annoying. Just open with a River Crocolisk. And the greetings come out. Blessed Champion. And I decided to just use Reinforce, even though I have a couple of like 2-cost minions, because I have the coin. So I was looking at turn 3 play, and I was thinking of playing the Knife Juggler and then coining into the Argent Protector to shield him, because when you play a Knife Juggler, a lot of people just go for him straight away. so it's usually nice to have something to back him up with. And the Argent Protector, it complements that quite nicely, because then they've got to get through the Divine Shield as well. I do end up drawing a taunt though, so I was in two minds whether or not I wanted to coin into the taunt or into the Knife Juggler Argent Protector combination. And I think I went for... what did I go for? Yeah, I was thinking about it. Come on, old me. Yeah, I decided to go for the Knife Juggler combination. And he does smack the crocodile, which is good, So now he's got to get through that shield. But again, I've got to be quite wary, as I say, priests have a lot of removal. So I wasn't sure how he was going to deal with it. But I do like it on that very rare occasion where I get to play this combination, because as I say, I'm a bit in two minds whether or not I like Knife Juggler, just because you always usually need something to back him up with or to protect him with when you play it. Because it is a good card, it's just a bit fragile, I feel. He does buff his Crocolisk to take out the shield, for some reason, and I get a Blessing of Kings. But I did decide to go with a taunt for extra protection on the... yeah, for extra protection on the Knife Juggler. And of course it procs, although it didn't hit the Crocolisk, which was unfortunate. And for some reason I decided to trade him, which was really stupid, and I don't know why I did that. Really? Why? All that effort to keep the Knife Juggler in, and then I just do that. Well done. What an idiot. Plays his own Shield Master. And I get a True Silver Champion. And what do I do with it? I use an Outdoor Peacekeeper on him. Well, that's interesting. Personally, I should have gone for a True Silver Champion. Well, then that combination works too. Because I didn't lose anything from that. So now I've got 3 minions on the board to his nothing, but he has got more cards in his hand than me. So I have to see what he does. Plus, you know, he's got a lot. He's still got his removal. He's still got his. I mean, mind control's what, 10 cost now. So I've got to be careful when I start buffing things, because it's going to start getting a bit crazy if he does decide to play it. Holy Nova naturally just wipes the 5-1 out. Everything else is not looking so good. Pull out Repentance. I decide to go Avenging Wrath, I think, because he's got nothing on the board, so he's just going to take that damage straight to his face. So it's usually, I find it's usually a good idea to play it when his side of the board's empty, because then it's like 8 damage that you can't do anything about, which is nice. I mean, if there's like 1 or 2 minions with like 1 health, that's fine as well. I mean, it's still 7-6 damage, you know, that he can take. But I usually tend to save it for if the board's clear. He does use another Holy Nova and a Northshire Cleric, which doesn't do anything really. I don't think I gave him a chance to do anything with it. And looking at the cards in my hand, I do decide to go True Silver Champion and Repentance and Reinforce, and then smack him for 3. Clear out his Northshire Cleric that did absolutely nothing. He's got 11 health, I've got 27, and I haven't seen him use any of his removal yet. But he has got 8 mana, so we are coming up to that 10 mana mark, but I don't really have anything he can mind control. Repentance kicks in on his taunt, which is perfect, because, you know, this was one of the few times I actually had good luck with that. Most of the time they just play like a 1-1. He probably thought it was an eye for an eye or something. And my other taunt comes out. I do trade, but I still have my taunt. And I was just weighing up what I could do. I could play the other taunt. I could use Blessing of Kings on the Shield Master. I do opt for the taunt though, and use Blessing of Wisdom on the Shield Master just for card draw. And I decide to play the Argent Protector on the Shield Master, because then he's got to get through the shield in order to kill him. Which is nice. That was quite a nice top deck there. Now, he's got 6 health. And finally one of his removal comes out. And a Gurubashi Berserker. But I do have a Blessing of Kings in my hand. And if he can't get rid of my Shield Master, he's dead. So he can buff that Berserker as much as he wants to. Because he's dead. And there we go. There's the GG. Woo. And I was quite surprised I actually won that. To be fair, like priests normally have a lot of removal, but apparently not for him. So we do move up to rank 23, which is awesome. And that is game 5. So there we go. And I will see you next time, where we do some more. But until then,